Hey Vicki, thanks for sending me your run video for analysis. As I already mentioned, it is a little bit different running on the treadmill. You may change your cadence and gait a little bit than when you run outside, but the treadmill's a lot easier for me to see what's going on instead of watching someone running towards and away from the camera if they were outside. So I appreciate the screenshots, the angles that you sent me. So the first thing I'm looking at is posture. You want to make sure you're in alignment, meaning that your ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles are in alignment, and that you have a relaxed forward lean from your ankles, not your waist. You want to make sure your shoulder blades, kind of pinching those shoulder blades back and down your spine. I found when I used to take Pilates, that was a really good way for me to get that feeling of shoulder blades back and down my spine. And you don't want to lean backwards because that'll cause you to overstride and that'll cause you to heel strike. That's pretty common if you're not a comfortable downhill runner. Just something to be mindful, especially when you're running downhill, is to continue to lean forward and not try to land on your heel, because that'll put a lot of stress on your knees, hips, and back. So something that I like to tell people is when they are running, before they try to run faster, focus on leaning forward more, and that's like your accelerator, and that should make you speed up without putting in an excess effort. It's like free speed. It's like swimming. When you work on swimming drills, work on some running form, and it's free speed. So the next thing I'm looking at is your foot strike and your stride. I'm looking at the side view as well as the back view of whether you're striking on your heel, your toe, or your midfoot. Like I already mentioned, the heel strike is going to put a lot of stress on your knees, hips, and backs. If you land to what's called toey, you're going to get a lot of calf and Achilles issues. So what you really want to do is land flat foot or midfoot. You land flat foot, midfoot, and then the heel does go down. So it's not like your heel's never going to touch the ground, but you want to think of flat foot running. Various drills to kind of think about that is just marching in place. You start to march in place and you start to kind of jog in place, and with a forward lean while you're jogging in place, you'll start to land directly underneath your center of gravity. So that's another thing I'm looking at, is where does your foot strike in relationship to your body? Are you striking in front of your hips, under your hips? I'm not sure if it's possible to strike behind your hips, but what I'm looking for is making sure you're striking the ground underneath your hips, which is underneath the center of your gravity, which will help keep your body in alignment. So that's something, again, just to be mindful of, and doing the drills will help that. The next thing I'm looking at is cadence. You want to think about doing 170 to 180 2-foot strikes a minute, or 85 to 90 1-foot strikes a minute. If you're a little above or a little under, that's fine. What I really don't want to see is anything below 85 or 170, because then that's really telling me someone has more potential to be a heel striker and to overstride. So also I want you to note what pace you were running on the treadmill, so kind of we can keep an idea of how that's affecting your cadence. A lot of people just have this expectation they have to run faster to increase their cadence, which you don't need to. And a treadmill is a good way to think about cadence, trying to increase your cadence at the same speed. So again, something to be mindful of. The beginning, during, and after your run is to frequently count your foot strikes per minute and try to maintain that throughout your run. I already mentioned, or maybe not, the next thing I'm looking at is arm swing, making sure your wrists, elbows, and shoulders are at a 90-degree angle, and you're pulling back instead of pushing forward. If you're pushing forward, then that would look like robot arms, which you're not. So I just wanted to kind of point that out, making sure you're driving your elbow behind you rather than driving your hands in front of you. Also, in your case, I want you to be mindful. You have a little bit of a slight upper body movement from your arm swing, and that's just causing a little bit of twisting motions. So just kind of tighten that up a little bit. Like I said, being mindful of it is going to help you the most. Also, when you start to be more conscious of leaning forward, that's going to help pull your heel up to your butt, or the other way around. When you start focusing on pulling your heel up to your butt, that's going to create more of a forward lean. So my favorite drill to give athletes is the butt kick drills, and I get all my drills from the Newton Running Form Friday videos. They have really good videos. So just putting it all together, it's hard to put it all together. Just like swimming, you want to make sure you're breaking it down and being mindful of one or two things at one time. But, your gaze, you want to have a slight chin tuck. You want to be looking, just in front of your body. You don't want to look straight out, but you want to look slightly down and forward. You want to make sure you relax. That's probably the most important part. Relax from head to toe. Focus on that lean. Focus on keeping your shoulders back, chest forward. Try to keep your arms close to your body, which they are. Again, those elbows at a 90-degree angle, pulling from behind. And tuck your glutes in underneath. So just by pressing your hips forward, I think that's going to help with your foot strike down the center of your gravity. That'll help a lot. And then something else I noticed from the back view is you have a little bit of a heel inward rotation on your right foot. I attached a screenshot to this email. So that's telling me you might have a glute strength imbalance, maybe a weak glute medius, which is very common among runners and triathletes. So something to pay attention to if you're feeling tightness in that right or left side. It could have to do, that's probably causing that little heel inward rotation that I showed you the screenshots of. Hopefully this helps, and if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, make it a great day.